He took the baseball bat and he swung it at my head, and I just seen nothing but black.
I was beat up and bruised.
My head was really swollen. He had hit me so hard to where the veins in my eyes had busted.
My nose was broken twice.
My son, he slept with a knife under his pillow.
Why do you hang your clothes this way? You shouldn't have this hanger. You should have this kind of hanger. And it starts out real small.
I knew I was going to die. I was quite sure that that was in the plan.
More than 4,000 domestic violence calls for help are made each year in San Joaquin County. Most never make that call at all. Those who grow up in abusive homes are twice as likely to abuse their partner or children. It's just what they know. Many of those adults are now in your workplace. They're in your school. They're in your church. It's much more prevalent than any of us want to admit, and we can't keep pretending it doesn't exist or it's just a small segment of the population.
Everybody has the stereotype. This doesn't happen to anybody who's educated, white, middle class, comes from a stable home. This is not supposed to happen to those kind of people.
Victims of domestic violence are a cross-section of our population. They're married, single, wealthy, low-income, gay, straight, young, and old. It spans all religious, ethnic, and racial groups.
When we would go out together, he was the star of the show. He was socially acceptable, he had impeccable social skills, and everybody was attracted to him. You wouldn't suspect that he would emotionally tear you apart.
Way too often we minimize the impact that domestic violence has even between a victim and the perpetrator, but we've seen it happen before where there's an episode that happens in a neighborhood, a domestic violence situation erupts into a homicide, and families and neighborhoods are impacted.
My husband, at that time, purchased a handgun.
At any given time, he could have killed me.
I thought I was going to die.
And it started with persistent calls, constantly. Sometimes between 20 to 50 calls per day. Where are you at? What are you doing? I'm right across the street. I'll kill you and your friends.
The physical abuse started right away. And even during pregnancy, it doesn't stop. It intensifies, actually. And you just try, at the beginning, you try to defend yourself. When I was pregnant, I realized this is a lost cause. My job is to protect my children. So I gave up on the fight.
I was so busy just trying to do the right thing and be a productive person and trying to show him that, you know, I could be a good woman and stuff like that, but I guess being too good was not good enough.
I thought I should just kill myself because you can't, you don't know what to do with yourself anymore.
It was a friend, a coworker, a neighbor who helped each of these women find their way out.
She just said, "Who's hurting you?" I mean, just straight out came to me, and that threw me off the wall. I was like, who are you and why are you asking me this? And at first I was like, oh, nothing, you know, just a bruise, it's no big deal. And I tried to avoid her the whole day, but she kept insisting. And she said, you know, I don't think this is a bruise, just out of the ordinary. And I must have connected with her, that I found her a couple days later at work. She worked with me, she was a coworker, and I finally told her.
Close friends of mine kept telling me, Sharon, you have to leave. You have to leave this before you get hurt, before you don't have any more money left, before something happens.
I tried to get out the house, but my neighbor heard me and she called the police. That was the only reason why he left. If nobody would have never reached out and called the police or nothing like that, I probably wouldn't even be sitting here telling you or sharing this story with you.
Simply handing a person who you're concerned about the Women's Center's helpline number and saying, I'm concerned about you. You may not know that this exists, but this resource is for you. Calling 911, calling the police to let them know what's going on. It's better to err on the side of caution than to do nothing at all, because more often than not, people's lives are at stake.
Getting out of an abusive relationship is complicated.
You just feel so guilty, so shameful. And then you hear people make comments like, you should have just left, you should have just walked away, like it's something so easy. Like it's just simple as, you know, people don't understand that before they hit you, they play with your mind so well that when it happens, you're so confused that you do feel like you're the crazy one.
Those that make it out and to the Women's Center for support have their lives back.
When I made my escape, I came to the shelter. It was crowded. I had blankets and a pillow on the floor in one of the rooms, and it was the best night's sleep I'd had in years.
We just started talking about me, you know, my life, and instead of his life. And that was just the beginning of me to start focusing on my life.
A good friend of mine, she said, "Sharon, we just want you back. We want your soul back. We want who you are back." And that's who I've got me back.
And if we step out and get help and break the cycle of the dysfunctional things that we've been raised up about, no telling how many children in this world we could save for our generations to come.
1 in 3 of us have witnessed domestic violence. Understand there's help and reach out to that coworker, friend, or family member.
I am your friend.
Your wife.
Your grandmother.
Tu hermana.
Your mother.
Talk about it before it's too late.
I pray for the day when women's centers will not be necessary, but I thank God they're here.